episode 56 of Speedy Film Watchers. Aaron, Nathan, care to introduce your pick?
It's a Taxi Driver.
A solid fucking movie. Let me just say that right out. And it's I think Jodie Foster's first movie. I think.
Yeah, there was a controversy surrounding 12-year-old as a prostitute.
Yeah, that was a bit sketchy, but it is the 70s, so that's different.
I did not believe she was 12.
She looks more like 13, maybe 14 at most.
Well, I don't think she was 12. Filmed it, right?
Yeah, I don't think they were legally allowed to do that.
No, she was.
She looks like some kind of like, I don't know, maybe like 21-year-old pretending to be like a freaking teenager.
I mean, she's definitely in her teens, but I don't think she's like 12, but she's probably like 13 at the most, maybe.
Well, let me check.
She really didn't do anything like bad though.
Yeah, most of the stuff, it's just for your mind to fill in the blanks.
Right.
It's just an implication thing, I think, that like people were freaking out over, which is
But can I just say, the first act of this movie tricks the viewer into thinking, what's the word I'm trying to use here? Like, the main character's not a good guy, so I'm trying to say, like, it tricks you into thinking that, and then, like, kind of flips the script at the end.
I don't know. I mean, he seems pretty reasonable, a bit out of touch, maybe, like...
A little psychotic. The whole bloodbath in the third act is just fucking crazy intense.
Yeah, no, it's it kind of comes out of nowhere.
There's a lot of iconic shots in this movie, like the mirror scene. You know, you talking to me, or there's a scene where the main character tries to take out that politician. I think it was.
Oh yeah,
that fails.
What was the name? Started
yeah,
with P.
Palantine.
I don't really didn't really get like his motivation for doing that.
He didn't.
I think he was mad at society and he wanted to take it out on somebody. And that's like,
I think he was just like his the girl who rejected him kind of as well.
That's part of it too.
Like the whole movie feels like an incel study before incels were really a thing, I guess.
Yeah, better study than that Tough One No Girlfriend documentary.
I think the main thing in the movie is how isolation can actually harm somebody's but like a person can save a person from it.
Like that was actually the first thing discussed in that Schmook page I linked that I was gonna use.
Because like he kind of latched onto like the first person that he felt like he could because I don't know, he wanted to save someone, right? That's kind of like his motivation.
He wanted to save somebody worth saving and not like a piece of shit regular.
Yeah.
Because children have no dictatorship over their world, you know, until they're old. Like, if you can like save somebody from the main character's fate, and you know that's a good reason to do it.
Yeah.
I know this has probably been discussed to death about this film, but like it's I guess it's sort of like a very human look into like how social isolation, because in this case it's very extreme social, how it can turn into negative, but it also can turn into positive if you. It's all down to like how you view it and like how you decide to use the isolation to your advantage.
I mean, I don't know what you could call like how he like kind of deals with the whole
like
deal.
It's very obvious this guy doesn't really have any like friends or.
Yeah, I mean, he just like some people in this movie. They're pretty much. I tend to forget about them while watching it.
Why do you forget every fucking movie you watch? Jesus Christ!
No, they're not really super big important characters. I don't forget. I remember this movie.
I'm sure he didn't watch it today.
Like seriously, like almost every movie me and Peter watch on cast, he forgets about it the next day. It's amazing.
He didn't even know the senator's name. I don't even know Palatine's name. Probably doesn't know who Betsy is.
Well, to be fair, like I guess I don't really know a lot of the characters' names, but to my defense, I don't know. I'm a retard. What do you want?
social isolation. Yeah, it's it can make you go crazy when you're all alone.
I mean, this is like decades before the internet, so the guy couldn't get on the internet and be a douchebag. So it's like it's like a raw look at.
He was only like a hero because he ended up saving the girl, but he really just wanted to kill people.
I don't really think he was a hero per se. Like,
no. That's how he's portrayed.
yeah, but in reality, he's still a fucking murdering psychopath. He just had a heart at the last moment of his life.
Well, yeah, he wanted to kill people.
He just picks the right target.
He picked the right target.
The whole transformation of the character throughout the film is very noticeable. And
some people could say the senator was a good target too, because he's just a lying politician.
Yeah, lines his pocket with taxpayer money and shit.
He's shit as well, just like all politicians. And he was frustrated, by many things, by the fact that, the girl that used him as part of his campaign, and also he had like a wake up call that he really wasn't do much for the country. I mean, he just looked at New York City and just seen what a shithole it is, and no one.
God, I love Scorsese.
At least then,
it's raw style.
No one had done anything, and for a while that was the case. No one did anything in the city to fix it until I don't remember who, but it was like. I don't think this is when a valid
talking point, but in a lot of these older movies, you can see a lot of cool cars in the band. I know it's not a talking point; it's just something I like to look.
Really paying attention. And
I must say, like
he was.
Oh, sorry, Alka. Go ahead.
He was invited into a world of violence. It's not like he was just naturally violent, but
his weak-minded
cabbie friends.
He's definitely weak-minded, and that's kind of what led him down that path. People that are like easily manipulated, like
he probably has autism.
Another thing I'd like to note is, God damn, this movie is fucking violent when it wants to be. Jesus.
It's not that violent. Just some gunshots and
compared to like modern movie violence, this is like definitely more violent. Like I can't even think of
the hardcore Henry.
Oh no, obviously not. Like, how many fucking people? Yeah, I like that raw 70s like pseudo raw, like I guess action feel to it. I wouldn't really call it that, but it's just a raw 70s feel, I guess. Also, I'm not a huge fan of Robert De Niro, but his earlier movies.
Yeah, Robert De Niro is good for years. I think he's kind of a joke now. But wasn't he in Jack and Jill, or I think it's someone else?
Yeah, he was also a Joker and a bunch of.
Yeah, I mean, there is people who say there's a link between Taxi Driver and Joker, but
I think it's just
movies.
Yeah, Todd Phillips was inspired by that and Kingdom Comedy.
I don't really think there's an inherent connection to Joker, minus like one or two themes, I could say.
Like, so I mean, there's a similar theme of like men abandoned by society, but other than that,
yeah, but that's been done in film like way before even Taxi.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, you could even say.
That's why I don't get like modern film analysis when people like compare like Joker to like old shit like this. Yeah. Like, sure, it has like one or two things in common, but that's it. Like, literally, the plot's 100% different.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I think people just like to make connections that aren't there
most
of the time.
Go ahead, Peter. You want to say something?
Yeah, I think Top Phillips actually himself inspired by Kingdom Comedy, Taxi Driver.
Also, the coronavirus is made this year for films really bad.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
I think, like, I hate to say this, but I think 2019 might actually end up being a better year for film than this.
I mean, 2019 was pretty good, if you ask me.
Like, last year we had some really big stinkers, my god.
Every year we got big stinkers.
Like, I don't really like Marvel movies too much, so I don't really have a connection to those movies, so every time one comes out, I go, whatever. I don't really like modern Star Wars, and like fuck,
Star Wars is a total joke now.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but George Lucas needs to come back, dear Lord.
Yeah, literally.
Fucking Christ. But yeah, very solid pick by Nathan again.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we didn't even get to all the questions I wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, ask question.
Okay, so we kind of talked about isolation. So let's get. How common is Travis's condition? Do you think a lot of people isolate to this degree?
Modern incels are kind of like this, but like obviously not this extreme in most cases, except for the people that shot people up.
So you kind of don't have it to the same degree because like there's the internet to give a sense of
fulfillment, like
an illusion of
a life,
not being isolated.
Yeah, like back in this, you either had to go outside or like have friends to even like remotely be social.
Yeah, that's why I'd stay inside all day. Yet I can pretend that was social life.
I guess when you consider the missing internet element from this movie, it kind of gives it more of a, like a real life look into this, like how it would actually be in real life if we didn't have internet, obviously. Because humans are social creatures, right? We have to have interactions with one another, like whether we like it or not. Like it actually damages your brain to not have social interaction, and I guess stuff like this could happen as a result.
Do you have citation? Or is that fake news?
That is not fake news. Social isolation can very much damage the mind. That's been proven.
No wonder I'm retarded.
Poor Peter.
Alright, question 2 on isolation. What kind of circumstances causes someone to fall into the state of isolation, both in Travis's case and in general?
Repeat the question, sorry.
What kind of circumstances cause someone to fall into the state of isolation?
Social retardation or fear of social interaction, social retardation, not having any family to confide in, literally being alone in this case, like can cause this.
Demonization of certain like groups.
Yeah, like if you surround yourself by negative people, you're eventually going to become it. Like.
Oh yeah, I know that term.
If you don't have any positive role models in your life, people like Travis, a fictional character like Travis can be very real. And that goes for really anybody. Like, you can be a straight A student and then be a drug dealer like the next year. Like,
shit, there's none. Let's see, try to get these questions. There's a lot. What should Travis have done to fix his sense of isolation? Get some friends.
He should have just reached out.
Yeah, talk to his coworker. Talk to some people at the job.
Like he.
Shit. Alright, I got to get some food on my plate before it gets taken.
I think a good answer to that is like sometimes reaching out isn't enough. Obviously, sometimes you have to take extra steps. Like you have to go to therapy, or you have to like get. I know everybody's different, but for me, like reaching out to my parents or like letting know in real life like tends to help me a lot. If I'm having trouble.
Yeah.
I know this is a movie, obviously, but there's a lot of parallels you can compare to real life within this film's chasms, if you will. But like I said, I don't really think this movie should be compared to like Joker or anything similar. It's just because it shares like one or two themes doesn't really necessarily make it like this connection in that way. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say, to be honest. Alucard hasn't really said anything.
You said everything.
Yeah, no, you really got attached to this movie.
I mean, I've seen it many times. I just haven't seen it until today. How long has it been? Like 2 years since I've seen it? Something like that.
I think Brad would be the next taxi driver.
I must admit I am an incel. Like I would definitely admit it, but I'm not like a negative one that hates women and like hates women because they don't have sex and shit. I know why I don't have sex. Like nobody has to fucking tell me why. Jesus Christ.
mean,
All right, I'm back.
like, I don't think the guy who's taxi driver hates women.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Like he's not
Okay.
like a modern incel. Like not even remotely close.
He blames like all the stuff on like the criminals of society.
He's basically convinced himself that he's a good citizen, even though he's actually not a good guy.
Yeah.
Because good citizens don't go around trying to murder people, like regardless of the situation.
All right. Last question about isolation. Why doesn't Travis know how to remedy a sense of isolation? How could he have found the tools to do so?
Well, he did find the tools. It was just too late that he found them.
Yeah, gun.
Yeah, like the gun is his sense of like a place, I guess, or is trying to not sound dumb when I say
Yeah,
this.
I think it
'cause he
just,
was a
I don't know,
former
probably make
former
closer
military guy.
friends with those people he talked to in the cafeteria.
When he starts interacting with the firearm, you can tell his personality almost shifts. Like his
Feels
whole,
like at home almost.
yeah, like you can obviously tell he's miserable, but when he picks up a firearm, it's almost like he becomes a different person, which is a very bad sign.
He gains a goal. Like I think before that he was just kind of like aimlessly moving day through day.
Which
Yeah,
is
he
very
says-
harmful to one's mind.
And he says as much in like a diary entry.
Another thing to note is this kind of isolation can not only breed violence, it could also breed self-harm. Suicide rates will go up, and it can either be inward violence, which is to yourself, or outward violence to other people. Usually it's the latter, based on what I know. But it can more or less be violence against yourself as well. I had thoughts about killing myself a few times, but obviously I know that's wrong, and
Alright, so the second theme is violence. A short blurb. Violence is the atmosphere that. Let's skip the blurb. Is violence ever the answer?
It depends. It depends entirely on the context of the situation. Like if somebody like literally like takes everything from you and you have a chance to kill them, maybe it's a good idea to try. But
or
it's a
trying to
fine
kill
line.
you, then you have no choice.
Yeah, like if you pushed up against the wall, violence may or may not be okay. But like if you're just doing violence to do violence, it's never okay. Like if you want to beat this guy up because he looked at you funny, that's not okay.
How bad should we feel about
Yeah,
sports
yeah.
death? Should we feel bad at all? Why or not? What about the other two people Travis kills?
Nah, they're scum.
I mean they are low denominator people, but
I mean, sports
God.
was like
I'm not a violent person, so I never really think about violence too often. Unless it's giant
Killer and a rapist.
Yeah, this format's actually pretty good. I should try it when I do my films. I'll try it for next one. Good, Nathan. I don't feel bad with sport. I mean, I was literally just prostituting a minor, like. So, yeah, I don't feel bad about him at all. The other two guys, I didn't even know who the hell they were before, so I couldn't really have a connection to feel bad about them. Alright.
Yeah, I feel the central theme of this movie isn't necessarily violence. It's a person trying to like get themselves out of darkness, but
Alright, question number 3. Why does Travis think he needs to work out his problems through violence? What else could he have done?
because that's the only way he knows. He doesn't really have anybody to confine into, so that's literally the only other option.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really. One guy can't really change much in society with nothing. You need something.
One person can never change society in an impactful way. I don't think it's really happened.
Yeah,
It's usually a combination. It's usually a combination of an ideal that creates change.
We was in the military, right?
Yeah.
Something to do with it.
Well, in the military, they literally breed you into a character. Like they literally like make you into. And I guess you can sort of blame that on Travis's psyche, but most of the time that kind of stuff's a crutch. Like it could be like an underlying issue on top of that.
Oh.
Like I'm trying to make my words sound good, Alucard. I apologize.
Yeah, like he definitely just didn't know anything else. I don't think because he doesn't appear to have much life experience to learn how to solve problems. From what little we know about him.
When all you know is violence and you have nobody to confide into, you're going to become a monster.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like positive role model. There's a reason like prisons have like positive role model programs because they want these people to have people to confide into to prevent them from falling back into.
I've never heard this. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's like support groups in prison and stuff. If you're a good prisoner, obviously you're allowed like I think like once a week to like go talk with the group for a few hours. I don't know the details. I watch prison. It's like whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't think society itself creates monsters. I think it's the absence of help from society that creates monsters, which in turn can be, society's fault. But most of the time, it's when people cry out for help and they don't get help or don't get an answer back is what creates monsters. Unless you're just an evil mother.
Well, I mean, evil is not an important thing; it's a learned thing. So,
I think when people put society as the blame to the problems, they're the problem, not society. You have to be an adult. You have to be an adult and take action or take responsibility for what you do in life. My parents always tell me, like you can't just blame somebody for your misfortune or an.
Alright, final question regarding violence. What is the end of the movie saying about violence? Is it arguing that it could work sometimes, or is it completely ironic?
I think the end scene of the movie signifies that no matter what you do in life, like whether you do violence, you do good eventually. It can no matter what you do. Like because Travis killed all these guys, saved the girl, right?
Yeah.
Is he happy? Like, is he happy he did all that? Does he got fulfillment? Is it gonna get him, day to day after that?
It gets the attention of the girl that he wanted. Like she.
There's a.
I think there's some
pretty
kind of
alright.
like film.
There's a movie that has a similar ending to this. That's just as bleak in my opinion. It's called Memories of a Murder.
Oh, yeah. Don't spoil it for them, of course.
When the main character looks at the movie, has a bleak ending to this movie where it's neither a happy or a sad ending. Really bleak ending, You're not really happy or sad for this guy.
I'm thinking about the end where he's looking at the mirror. I think that's
There's
a reflection that his violence could end up biting him.
Ending.
Seems okay in the end.
There's no happy ending in Taxi Driver. The movie started off bleak and it ended bleak.
Yeah.
Like,
well, bittersweet because there's
no
some
fucking
happiness and
happy ending to be found anywhere.
I think there was. What do you mean?
When Travis,
That's not the end of the movie.
and he's all bloody and like, well,
Yeah, he wanted to kill himself because he thought he was gonna be reprimanded for what he had done for killing those people. But it turns out that society deems it great because those people turned out to be total scumbags. They were a mafia operation operating a prostitution ring, and he killed one of the mafiosos and the two dudes, whatever, the two pimps. But they didn't. The society didn't see it as a wrong, even though it is murder. They still deemed it as a right.
so
He
you
did
take
the
it as
right
like
thing.
as an act of righteousness because these people are.
Well, society deemed it to be right. I mean, it's not like he thought he was right because he was saving the girl's life. He was saving innocence.
I just don't see how this movie could have anything other than a bleak ending.
It didn't look bleak to me. It seemed like he was fulfilled that he had saved the girl. He saved the innocence that was being.
I mean, he did save that girl, but like,
I
what-
Yeah,
mean,
like
the
there's a
the
part
news
of it.
said he was a hero. Like
No, Quas.
pieces of shit that are
he
worthless.
was the film basically just said he was the good.
And he was just fine right after it. Anyway, it's not like he lost a limb. He
Yeah.
didn't.
I
He's
mean,
not retarded.
I can
He
back
looks the
that.
same.
He got the girl.
He
Like
did do something nice at the end, but
Yeah, and the girl likes him now. Yeah, he looked at him with bedroom eyes.
that's
and
that
he's
brings
like,
me
"Yeah,
back to
fuck
my
you,
initial
bitch."
point that the first act
maybe
tricks you
next
into believing
time-
this guy is just a bad guy, and
He
like-
went from being the incel to being the fucking alpha male who's gonna tell the bitch to wait. She's gotta wait for that now.
yeah, like I mean, I'm backing you up, Alucard. Like that makes sense.
I'm not ending the movie right at the couch when he's like pointing the finger gun to his head. He wants to kill himself.
Ah, that's such a great
Oh.
fucking scene. Holy.
Yeah, it was really good. So yeah, it worked out. The violence worked out in this scenario. Is it right? No.
It depends on who
not.
you ask if it's right or.
Yeah, but look at society. In the movie they deemed it correct. And those were different times back then.
I'm pretty
anyway,
sure
but
all these
even
points have been
now-
discussed to death about this movie, but it's just fun to talk about it. And
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
now you could.
and
probably
plus we
see
can always bring in
something
new
like
angles to these
that.
points.
that's why this film's a class.
Alright, so still got more to talk about, but thanks to the Shmoop page, I got copies for it. So we have Justice and Judgment. Travis sits in judgment for me.
Like depends entirely on how you feel about it. If it was justice, you know.
Alright. Well, specifically
Uh,
discuss Travis about the people around him. Why does it feel the worthy condemnation? I guess they just feel like they idolize this politician when he's probably full of shit.
Another point I want to bring up. Is it just me, or is this whole film like portray everybody as kind of like assholes in this movie? Like earlier in the film, the supermarket scene. Do you remember that? Like, God, like.
Oh, that?
Yeah, like.
Well, that's real. It's not fake.
Yeah, like people are assholes in
Still
real
happens
life.
today. Still happens today. The same kind of people too.
Yep, like people aren't gonna change in 40 years
Don't
of human
say
history.
anything. We're on Twitch. Remember, don't say anything.
Oh yeah, we are on Twitch, aren't we?
Yeah, don't say anything. Don't get Peter banned.
uh,
Remember, there's a new safety board.
yeah.
oh yeah, that got
Don't say anything. You'll get him banned for that too.
Either way, I hope Nathan keeps picking Nathan and Alucard keeps
Well, we're
great
not done
fucking.
yet.
What about me, yo?
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, oh fuck you, Peter. But yeah,
Yeah, I
Just
think the
those more
Shmoop
questions
format, the Shmoop page is what's helping this discussion because it has really good questions and my questions tend to suck.
at least we watched the movie,
Mhm.
Peter Afro.
Yeah, no
Oh,
one flaked.
shit. Not watching the movie.
oh poor Peter.
I know. I'm just fucking with
Too
Peter. I love
busy.
you, dude.
Thanks. Oh yeah, I remember Nathan asking want to know why Travis wants to kill Palantine. I just think he just
I don't think it's explicitly described though.
yeah, I
or,
think he
like,
just hates
explain why.
politicians and they think they're so high up when they're not.
I
Yeah,
think
mean,
I
he's
think he wanted to
learning
bring
every
that person
day.
down to his
Mm.
level.
He doesn't know
His view-
anything.
Like he wanted to bring that rich pompous asshole down to his level, like most psychopaths.
I don't think he hated him because of that. I mean, I think he just doesn't know any better. I think he's like,
A lot of 70s movies were had a theme called "Against the Man," and I'm pretty sure this is an
yeah, but he
example of
wasn't
that.
against the man. He wasn't though. Like his character is not that type of character. Travis
Well, he
is
is a
not an
spiteful kind of character,
activist.
but I don't think for that reason.
He's not like a type of activist or a hippie or anything.
He's just a
like
spiteful
that.
guy, like in
He's just
general.
an ex-marine. I think he's a marine or something, and he's just
Yeah,
autistic.
obviously he's not
like,
like an activist because, like,
he had
like
some
they're
sort
not.
of mental problems, and
And the
there's
war
really
may
no
or may
help.
not have
Back
made it
then, I don't
worse.
think there was that much help or anything.
Well,
like that.
there was literally no help for mental stuff.
Oh yeah, even today,
Yeah, no-
better to
like
get
a lot of
good
vets
help.
were suffering back then after the
They
Vietnam
didn't have the
War.
medication they have now that can
Or-
just.
like And he,
Yeah,
I don't know, he apparently suffered from insomnia too.
I don't think he's. I think he wants to bring the guy down to his level, not for the reason that I initially put it out there for. He wants to bring the guy down to his level because he either thinks that society wronged him but didn't wrong this guy, so he's like "fuck you" kind of thing.
He's spiteful. I mean,
He's a petty kind of spiteful, but in
his
a way we
girlfriend,
can
the
relate to
girl
it.
he tried to be with that rejected him is part of his campaign. I mean, that's one thing. And another
Shit.
thing is the fact that he's just another cog in the big societal machine that's doing nothing. Again, with New York City being a shithole, no one
Especially
does
in the
anything about the
70s,
crime.
real
Back
shithole.
then, no one does anything about the porno theaters. No one does anything about just New York being a cesspool. New York City was a cesspool back then. It wasn't like a good city to be in.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, like 70s.
like it wasn't cleaned up until like in '90s. I forgot when exactly.
Yeah, and they didn't even really all the way clean up either.
No, I mean there's still shit. I can't
Yeah,
stand them.
you all made very good points about this movie. Some of which I didn't even realize, like Alucard's point earlier about the ending.
Is it ever right to judge someone else? Should you judge yourself first?
Wait.
I'll say it. Is it ever right to judge someone else? Should you
No.
judge yourself first?
You should always look at somebody. You should always look at somebody's shoes before you even remotely attempt to judge somebody.
Like, there's a saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover" for a reason.
Isn't this like adult? Isn't this Adultin 101? You're not supposed to just outright judge people.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's the last question of.
Only bullies tend to like judge people on the spot, but that's what
Freaking bully.
All right, next theme
Yeah,
is. Next theme is gender. Well, Travis Vicky sees best use of angel gods takes her to a porn movie she wisely rejects. Yeah, I'm not gonna read these bits. I'm like, what does Travis need to do to adjust the perception of women? I think he spends so much time watching porn and not interacting with women. He just views them as sex objects. That's why he acts so weird with Betsy. I think he should just spend time actually interacting with women. Wait, did my internet just crap out? Hello?
Hello.
I thought my internet just because there was just dead silence for like 10 seconds. It was weird.
I think no one knows what to say about this, man. This is a touchy subject. It's too much toxic masculinity nowadays.
What? I mean, I don't think we should be afraid to talk about touchy subjects on this podcast.
Yo, Peter Afro. Yeah, we're on Twitch. We gotta watch what we say.
Oh, just don't say just don't say the N word again, and then we fine.
I was just fucking around that time. I'm not acting.
Brandon
did you say that?
Yeah, I did.
Brandon.
Oh boy, Brandon.
I'm gonna say the N word.
Nintendo.
Yeah, like that's.
He's gonna say it. I don't know. He Travis needs to stop going to porno theaters, and he needs to understand
about, like,
that
removing all impurities from your life, but he's still visiting porn theaters. It's like it's kind
that's
of
gonna give him a bad perception of women. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've discussed everything this film literally has to offer.
Oh, there's a whole nother theme after this one, dissatisfaction. But let's finish gender first.
Oh shit.
How should society deal with people like sports?
I don't really think.
Gone.
I think society is a little bit fence leaning with what kind of gender you are. But I only like not. you're not outright one gender over the other. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like women were claimed to have it like harder than men, but most of the time they actually don't.
Yeah, people who try to know
Unless they're
oppression contents are stupid.
Like I'm not sexist or anything. Like obviously an incel that hates women. It's just like every time I go on Twitter and like see the whole like women get paid less, and then you actually look up the real facts about it, you're like, oh, they were lying.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, it's like what
subject.
it's some kind of thing where it's like work for hours. Turns out women work less hours or something.
Yeah, women work, I think, like on average, like 5 to 10 hours less than men, a week.
Can't hack it.
And that's somehow like sexist.
Yeah, that's
'cause
the whole
Yeah,
other
just work
issue,
10
like-
extra hours and you'll get paid literally the fucking same.
Yeah, it's the whole issue, like people misstream facts. I don't know if we were discussing with something like that. Oh, we're gonna talk about that more. in
The
detail.
wage gap can exist realistically. It just doesn't exist right now. For the most part, yes. Like fuck.
the only place it does exist is places like that will tell you about.
Like if you're working the same job as say a guy named Bob, you're most likely paying the same amount of tax too. Like
Yeah, there's certain jobs that just women just can't do.
yeah, like
as
you're
good
not
as
going to see a
men.
woman like building houses and stuff, which they can do if they wanted to. It's just more
Yeah.
likely you're not going to see them doing it.
You're not gonna be seeing
yeah, I
do
think there's a lot of
the- a
factors
lot of
that
the
could be.
physical
I mean, I
labor.
haven't done a lot of research myself, so speaking out of ignorance, but there's probably more factors into why.
But I strongly believe that society treats men and women, and I
Yeah,
only
they
say
do.
because
They
uh,
do. Yeah.
if men don't bring in a paycheck, in most households, you would be a loser if you didn't bring in. Like you'd be like, oh hey, you're worthless. You know, like even if you do bring in a check and a woman makes more than you, you're gonna be deemed a loser in somebody's eye. Like Jesus Christ.
Which is dumb. That part of it.
I hate gender stereotypes so much they need to die. One more question on gender. Do you think society?
And there's actually one last thing gender thing. Men have a way higher suicide rate than women, and
That's true.
About the sport thing though, I mean, those kind of people need to be found. They need to be ousted, and to be jailed,
but
punished.
But I
to
will
the
say that
highest extent
violence
of the
against
law.
women, very real thing.
Yes.
And
Like
should
an
never
expert
be
young women.
like if you believe.
Brandon's talking about something different.
Yeah. No, I'm just tying into the whole gender, like how like even though men get treated like shit, so do women.
All right. One more question on gender. Do you think society has taught Travis that men deal with their problems through violence? Could have been sent better or different message? I think it comes from the stuff he watches.
Men that cry out through. It could be viewed. Fuck, I can't answer the question.
Yeah, like
Peter answered.
I mean, we don't really know anything as a child, so we don't know how he was raised or taught. But like, given what he watches violent stuff generally. So yeah,
I think the whole like it starts in the household could be a contributing factor to this, but it's just a lot of variables.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
Like most of the time, it does start in the household.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough.
But again, we do know he was a Marine, though. He was in the military.
Yeah, that could have been the defining factor.
So, if Full Metal Jacket's correct, I mean, they were told to, they were born to kill.
There's one famous line of Full Metal Jacket that brings it full.
Yeah.
As the guy's mowing down Vietnamese.
The fucking guy, yeah. It's like, get some. Shooting down the fucking civilian.
Yeah. Having a job in violence is gonna screw you apart. That's one reason I never.
I hate to end this. I hate to end this episode.
We're far from the end
have to
so
go.
we got another theme to tackle. Then we got Q&A. So we're good. You're good.
Okay, we'll get through it. Let's go.
All right, one more.
Let's go to
the final theme is dissatisfaction. Travis feels Philson's isolation, his love of stay, lack of purpose, natural
Well,
solution to
in my opinion, dissatisfaction in one's life actually be very. It's like if you're disappointed with everything around you, eventually you're gonna end up hating something really, really, or whether that be like women and incels, be money and pseudo capitalism. You know, can end up strongly hating capitalism because you never had a fair.
Is that
stuff
why there's all these communists on
Oh.
Twitter?
Like I'm no political expert, but I'm pretty sure most of the time when these people scream "kill capitalism," they've never had a good paying job.
I've once seen a meme like of child Andy dropping Woody representing communism. The caption was, "When college students get their first paycheck." I don't.
But in reality,
a lot of people are college students who haven't worked a job in their life, and a lot of them are also people that are receiving government checks.
yeah, like a lot of
So-
time when you dislike capitalism, you're usually a leech, but that's obviously not always the case. But that's just probably the majority.
obviously, if you're receiving a government check, you're not going to have the same source of income as someone.
Yeah, you don't have to get up like
an
every day.
innovator or someone that's working, a job that's
Yeah,
very
like
essential, or someone that's an entrepreneur that has.
I've noticed a trend.
That worked hard to get there. They don't know this, they just assume, they've been rich all their life. So yeah, they're very ignorant people.
Yeah, they're very misguided,
usually,
ignorant, and
Democrat,
quite frankly,
liberal,
hateful people.
Again, who are sucking the teat of the government. But yeah, it's quite stupid. But there are areas that do have corruption, of course.
Oh, well, yeah, that's anywhere in life, really.
Yeah, but with companies and things like that. As well, like especially companies receiving government aid.
And that kind of goes back to the whole dissatisfaction thing. People that are usually very dissatisfied with life, they usually find a way to expel their anger in a very negative way. And it's usually hatred towards something or something. And in the case of the whole Twitter and like these college kids and stuff, like they obviously never experienced life, so they have this hatred that is a lie.
Yeah,
like, doesn't make any
that
sense.
kind of connects with isolation as well. Because when you're isolated,
when you're isolated and all you know is okay. So say you blame your neighbor for being isolated because he called you an idiot one day and you took it too hard. You're so dissatisfied that the person called you that you just end up hating the guy. Like, and you blame all your problems on. I don't know. It's just isolation can be very negative towards somebody.
Yeah.
Even if you forcefully isolate yourself, and eventually you're gonna end up having negative thoughts. Obviously, like at one time I blamed my parents for my isolation. Then I realized it's my dumbass, not my parents.
All right. Let's get to the actual questions. Is Betsy dissatisfied with her life? In what ways? If so, how does it compare to Travis's dissatisfaction?
Speak English, please. Like,
all right. Is Betsy dissatisfied with life? If so, how does this dissatisfaction compare with Travis's dissatisfaction?
Well, it's a duality. On one note, Travis's dissatisfaction can be controlled because he's, on the other hand, this person's a child, right? Like, they have no control over their world yet. So.
Wait, no, this isn't. No, that's Iris.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Betsy's the one working for the politician.
Betsy's the older one.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't seem super happy with her job.
She looks extremely dissatisfied. She's what? She goes out with the guy takes him on, continues to take him on after he straight up says that to her face that she's dissatisfied. So clearly she's looking for some excitement. She's doing all sorts of boring shit can you light a match with all your fingers cut off?
Yeah,
it's like some shit like that you'd never really.
This episode's been going on for 45 minutes. I actually have to go do something in a minute.
Oh shit! Okay, let's skip to Q&A then. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just like normally I don't have to do anything during this stuff, but I
All
actually
in
have
all,
to.
there's a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of sexual frustration, and Travis goes out, kills people, and
All right,
gains
I
some
guess you have to go to.
satisfaction. Saved
Let's
a
go to
life.
Q&A
That's a
then.
great way.
Yeah.
That's a great take from it, honestly.
All right, let's go to.
Q&A.
All right, since Beal's in a rush, I was just sorry.
Yeah,
The
no worries.
Q&A. Anonymous asks, "Kill yourself, Peter." I don't know how to answer that.
What? What was the question?
Kill yourself, Peter.
Oh,
That's not a
I
question.
see.
That's
Okay.
that's a demand. You moron. Like what?
All right, we have Das Daye Skull asking, "What is the best film of the 2010s?" Three
Mm,
Billboards Outside of Missouri, no doubt.
yeah, that's a
I
good
have no
one.
idea.
For me, it
Which
would
one
probably
is
have
it?
to. I got to think about this for a moment.
All right, so what you two?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm just gonna think about it for a second.
How
One second.
about the other two?
I can't think of of the best movies 2010s.
Nathan Alcard?
2010s. Oh, Hereditary. I really liked Hereditary.
Oh, good choice.
Favorite film of this recent 2010s.
Nathan?
Man, I had such a weird rant about that movie.
Nathan wants to choose hardcore him.
The worst movie ever made? Oh my goodness.
Probably Double Down.
That's a 2005 movie.
Worst movie ever made.
There you go. All right, next question.
All right. Happy birthday from Al Macro Vendor. Happy birthday, Peter Acro. Everyone, please wish Peter a happy birthday.
Dead meme, dead meme.
No, that is not a dead meme, unfortunately. All right, that's all the questions. Bhill, what are you picking for next episode? Also, this is the longest episode you're at.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that. Like, I just really like this movie and I want to talk about it.
Oh no, actually, I'm very glad we
Yeah,
had
it's
this
a good-
lengthy episode. This is the kind of stuff we would be doing more often.
Yeah, I pick Gamera, Garden of the Universe, 1995.
Alrighty, Gamera Guardian of the Universe. We'll see you next episode. We discuss that. Signing
All right,
off
later, homies.
in 3, 2, 1.
Thanks, everyone.